Hi everybody, it's Annette Schmiede from the Bupa Health Foundation here. I'm the Executive Leader of the Foundation, and today it gives me great pleasure to introduce Professor Jeff Delaney, who is a cancer specialist from Liverpool Hospital. And the Foundation has funded a very large research project that Jeff and a very big team have led. And I'd like him to tell us a little bit about the project.
Okay, thank you, Annette. Patient-reported outcomes are where patients report their own symptoms rather than relying on the clinical team collecting information about their symptoms. Studies have shown that patients often don't report their symptoms particularly well in a free conversation with a clinician, often because they think the clinician is too busy, or they're too frightened, or they just forget to raise it with the clinician. And there have been lots of studies showing that clinicians are not very good at picking up some of the problems that patients are experiencing. The problem in a disease such as cancer is that patients can often be suffering quite significant side effects either during their treatment or after treatment that the medical team may not be aware of. So this project was to systematically collect that patient information in an electronic way that really identified what the problems are in the patient and highlighted them to the clinician at the time of the consultation, so that the clinicians know what to focus on and the patients are reporting everything that's going on with them. So the medical team are much more able to identify what the problems are and potential solutions to the problem.
Tell me a little bit about what are you measuring that are important to the patient that the clinician may not necessarily be attuned to?
So it's a variety of measures. One of them is called the distress thermometer, so how distressed the patient feels. And often they might suffer distress for a variety of different reasons. It might be due to the disease itself or their fear for the future, or it might be specifically around distress related to the way that they're feeling currently during treatment. There's a whole variety of other questions that we ask patients regarding the effects of treatment, such as fatigue, loss of appetite, nausea, constipation, changes in their memory. Those types of things they often don't necessarily bring up when the clinician says, "How are you today?"
So this sits in the medical record, so the doctor's got access to it.
So it's in the electronic record. So the important thing when the patient gets seen in the clinic is that that report comes up as part of the consultation in the electronic record when the clinician is ready to enter information. So it's very hard for the clinician to not see the information, which we think is very, very important.
And have you seen any changes in the outcomes in terms of from the patient's point of view?
Yes.
Are they, longer term?
Yes. So firstly, we're finding a very high level of acceptability by patients, that they don't mind filling out the questions. The feedback from patients is that the consultation has changed and is now more focused on their treatment. A number of the departments are finding an increased number of allied health referrals, which suggests that prior to our study that patients were not reporting their problems sufficiently to warrant a consultation. So we're hoping to use this system now to better integrate the care with the general practitioner and reduce the amount of specialist follow-up required, where the patients just come and report that they're feeling okay. And that way the oncology team can focus on the patients who are not okay. And the good news about that is that we've been able to sufficiently prove that the product is appropriate, that the Cancer Institute are now interested in rolling this out statewide. And there are a number of non-oncology groups very interested in what we're doing, hoping to roll it out in other chronic diseases. So that gives me lots of good feedback that our project was very successful, and without that funding I don't think we would be where we are now. So we thank Bupa very much for the funding. So these projects are very large in terms of the people behind the scenes. Particularly this project involved clinical groups, IT groups, a very broad selection of multidisciplinary groups as well. And so all those groups have to meet, talk, go away and think, come back. And to do a project like this properly really does take 2 or 3 years of planning before you actually then execute. So they are long-term projects. And to be quite honest, this project will continue on for probably the next 3 to 5 years, because although we're attempting to answer questions, we're also identifying new problems that we're then having to identify, or we're identifying new ways of doing what we did in the past.
Let's finish on the good news about the awards that you've received for the project.
Right, so yes, the project's received a number of awards, including the South Western Sydney Local Health District Board gave the Peak Quality Award at our most recent Quality Awards, which was fantastic, and it was nominated or put up by the local health district for the New South Wales Health Awards, so that was fantastic. And Professor Gerges, who leads the project, has actually just been awarded the Researcher of the Year for the University of New South Wales Medical School as well, which I think is testament to this project.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.